So here's an interesting concept. It is a well-known mathematical fact that 0.999 ... that means infinite nines equals 1. And for a long time, I didn't accept that as a fact. I didn't think that was possible. But I now have... it's been proven that it exists. How? Well, let's look at this mathematical equation. So, x equals 0.999 ... We take both sides and multiply them by 10. So we get 10x equals 9.999 ... So now we subtract the first one from the second one. So we get 9x equals 9, which means x equals 1. So 0.999 ... 0, that number equals 1. That's pretty crazy, I think. But it is true. It is mathematically verifiable. It has been verified and confirmed by literally every mathematician ever, pretty much. This is a true fact. But I am not a mathematician. I am a philosopher. I don't want to know the how. I want to know the why. Why is this true? You might think, oh, well, this is why it's true. But no, that's the how it's true. I want to know the why is it true. And I think I have a hypothesis as to why it's true. And it's semi-related to our old buddy, the Planck length, which is the smallest possible distance. It's the smallest possible unit of distance, of length. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that it's a thing. So let's move Planck length over here. The Planck length explains why we can move, basically. It explains why we can get from here to here. Because in order to get from here to here, we need to travel half the distance. Then we need to travel half again, and half again, and half again, and you could theoretically keep halving it forever, and then you would never, ever reach the end. But you do reach the end, because there's the smallest possible distance. The Planck length is the smallest possible distance, and crossing it, you can't halve it, which means you have to either travel one of it or none of it, and that is how anyone can move. That is how anyone and anything can move. That explains it. What does that have to do with numbers, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what that has to do with numbers. If we take this same equation and apply it to something that isn't 0.999 repeating forever, if we go 0.99949s, we take that. We assume x equals 0.9999. Well, multiply them both by 10. That's 10x, and that's equals 9.999. There we go. So now, subtract the first one from the second one. So we get 9x equals, let me do some quick math. Let me get a calculator out for this, actually. So, 9.999 minus 0.9999 equals 8.9991. So 9x equals 8.9991. Divide them both by 9. We get x equals... Divide that by 9. We get x equals 0.9999, which we know from the beginning. But notice, these two units are the same. These two from before are different. How? How is that possible? It's because 0.0001 is larger than what I'm proposing to call Mayo's number, or the Planck number, whatever you want to call it. This unit here, that one, is bigger than the smallest possible number. But because this one divides, because this one divides infinitely, there's always another one at the end, another theoretical 9 at the end. It will eventually, because it's infinite, get smaller than my proposed Mayo's number. Mayo's number, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is even a thing, is my idea for a hypothetically smallest number. Hypothetically smallest number. This is my idea. This is why I think that this equals 1 and this doesn't. Because if there was no smallest number, 0.999 repeating would just equal 0.999 repeating. But it doesn't. It equals 1, which means there has to be a smallest number. And I would like someone who is smarter than me to prove me wrong. Because the one thing I've learned from history is that everyone gets everything wrong for a really long time until someone eventually gets it right off the back of all the people who got it wrong. I'm probably wrong because I didn't base this off of much. I based it off of this idea and then my own brain. So, I'm probably wrong. So, I want someone who's smarter than me, and most importantly, maybe a mathematician. Maybe this isn't even anything to do with math. Maybe this is a philosophical idea, and this is a mathematical idea. I don't know. But this is my idea. What do you think? I'm probably wrong, and I accept that fact because the majority of everyone is wrong. And I also accept that fact because maybe one day this idea will help someone be right. And that's nice to think about.